Fidelity just released an analysis for more than 45 million IRA, 401k, and 403b retirement accounts. They saw an 11.5% increase in millionaires last year. Let me show you why that happened, as well as a few other things that both concern me and give me hope for the future. The biggest elephant in the room that helped increase the number of Fidelity millionaires is the fact that the stock market in general finished the year up around 25%. So if these investors had at least $800,000 in their accounts at the beginning of the year, then as long as they were smart and invested in an S&P 500 or total US stock fund, then they would have finished the year with at least $1 million. Since Fidelity has seen a rise in employers offering a Roth 401k option, if any of these millionaire investors had some of their money put into that account, then they would be able to withdraw this money tax-free. Fidelity found that 81% of workers received some type of employer contribution last year, which is a huge deal. I think we can all agree that we wish it was 100%, but 81% is pretty darn good. These employers also contributed an average of $4,600 to these workers' retirement accounts. An employer match can also play a big part in helping employees hit that $1 million mark. This is pretty much free money, so always make sure you're investing up to your employer's full match every single year if you can. A couple $1,000s per year of free employer-matched money could be worth almost $500,000 by the time you retire. All of us should be doing everything possible to get that maximum amount every single year. It could be the difference between you retiring on time or having to work a few years longer. Even just having access to a retirement account through your employer is extremely important. According to research done by AARP, employees are 15 times more likely to save when they can do so at work. But just because someone has access to a savings plan through work doesn't mean they'll participate. Fidelity found that 73% of eligible employees participated in their employer's workplace savings plan. While this is a solid number, that still leaves almost 3 in 10 people who have access but are not contributing. I understand that everyone's financial situation is different, but I find it very hard to believe that those 27% can't find at the very least $10, $50, or $100 to contribute every single year. This is why I think education around retirement accounts is extremely important. I remember having a conversation with a 20-year-old college student last year. While she doesn't have a ton of extra money at this point in her life, she thought that you had to have thousands and thousands of dollars to start investing. When I told her that she could open something like a Roth IRA and start investing for less than $100, she was mind blown. Sometimes I wonder whether or not people in this 27% group even know this. While Fidelity saw a big jump in the number of millionaires on their platform, which is a huge win, by the way, that doesn't paint the whole picture. Because if we look at the average 401k and 403b balance, we can see that it's nowhere near $1 million. And keep in mind, this is the average, so it's not necessarily a good representation of the whole group, since the accounts with a larger balance will skew the data higher. For example, the average balance of Vanguard customers back in 2022 was $112,000. Just to show how wildly different the average and median can be, the median for the same group was $27,000. To get a clearer picture, we want to look at the median balance over time, which they didn't put in this analysis. So while it's nice to see the average among all these Fidelity accounts, we need to take these numbers with a grain of salt. Now I have another little bone to pick with what Fidelity did in this graph showing the average account balance by year. Look at it for a second to see if you notice anything. Do you see it? Specifically, anything missing. Time's up. If you notice that data from 2019 through 2021 is missing, then you win the non-existent prize. Sometimes leaving small gaps from year to year to better visualize data is completely normal. But something about this gap during these specific years made me very curious. Could they be trying to, sweep something under the rug? So I went back to reports from previous years to understand why Fidelity might omit these years from this graph. Here's the same graph, but I added in the average balance for the missing years since they decided not to. Lo and behold, this might be why they didn't want to add in those years. There hasn't been any growth in average 403 balances since 2020. And the average 401k balance still hasn't recovered since 2020 as well. Now, I'm not saying that Fidelity is trying to do anything super sneaky here, but I personally prefer to be intellectually honest by showing the good, bad, and the ugly so that we can at least have an honest conversation to understand the why. Does it have to do with what these customers were investing in? Were they withdrawing money from their accounts? Or was it something else? So many questions, but without Fidelity sharing the info behind the numbers, we can only guess why this happened. One thing they do share with us is how their customers have been saving more over time. More than a third of workers who had a Fidelity retirement account increased their savings rate last year. 78% of 401k savers were also contributing at a rate high enough to get the full matching contribution offered by their employer. Total savings rates have been increasing every year since 2018. Yes, even during the years that they left out of this graph. Don't worry, I double checked just to keep them honest. Now, these total savings rates include contributions from the individual and their employer. Fidelity recommends at least 15% of pre-tax income, including employer contributions, so while these rates are headed in the right direction, there's still some work to do. Target date funds continue to be a big part of most Fidelity retirement accounts, which is perfect for those people who aren't really investing nerds like myself and some of you out there. Even though target date funds seem to be the default investment option for most new employees, and they're not my favorite thing in the world, they're good enough. I'd rather have someone invest in those things versus not invest at all, or invest in some of those trashy, high-fee funds that are in a lot of retirement accounts nowadays. In the description down below, I'll link my video laying out my thoughts on target date funds if you're interested. Within Fidelity accounts, 63% of workers had all their retirement savings in a target date fund. Among Gen Z workers, the percentage increased to 84%. These higher numbers make sense because target date funds are the default type of fund for most 401ks and 403bs using Fidelity. A lot of this is being driven by the fact that auto enrollment within 401ks and 403bs have been on the rise over the years. While I don't love the fact that it's only about 30% for 401ks right now, we should see that increase quite a bit in the coming years. That's due to Secure 2.0 getting passed. It's forcing all new 401k and 403bs to have automatic enrollment by 2025. On top of that, these plans will also be forced to auto-enroll new employees into an auto escalation plan as well. The minimum default deferral rate is 3% and can be set up to 10%. Check this out. Here's the power of auto increases in retirement plans. For Fidelity customers who increased their contributions last year, 73% came from auto increases and 27% came from proactive increases. I love this so freaking much. It gives me a ton of hope for the future of retirement savings in this country because research has shown that people are less likely to opt out of a plan when they are automatically enrolled. Remember that you don't have to be a new employee to enroll in auto escalation. Most employer-sponsored retirement plans should have this available to you. If you are someone who wants to bump up your retirement savings in a way that's not super aggressive and won't throw your finances out of whack over a short period of time, then I highly recommend opting into this feature. This will make yearly contribution increases your new normal. It turns from something that you have to do into something that you just do because that is the type of person you are. While the average balance of the 15 million Fidelity IRAs have been on the rise over the years, it looks like they still haven't recovered from the 2020 high. Once again, remember that average balances can be misleading, so take it with a grain of salt. Average contributions to Fidelity IRAs are at a 5-year low, which is a little rough to see. But on the bright side, they've seen an increase in Roth IRA accounts for Gen Z, which once again is great for the future of retirement savings. I've said this so many times before. After investing up to your employer's match, I'd personally bend over backwards to max out my Roth IRA every year because it's one of the most important retirement accounts available to us. In a recent Roth IRA video I released, I went over some of these scary stats around IRAs. A new report found that 76% of households don't have a Roth IRA, and 92% don't even put money into this extremely powerful retirement account every year. If you want to learn everything you need to know about investing in a Roth IRA and potentially growing it to $660,000, then watch this video to your left next. Hit that thumbs up button before you go. Thanks for watching. Done.